There's something so very powerful about pausing long enough to reflect, not just on where you've been, but on who you've become along the way. Welcome to Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole, where we rise in faith and thrive in purpose. And today's episode is deeply special because it's not just a conversation, it's a reflection. Over this past season, we've had some powerful voices, meaningful stories, and transformative conversations. And today we're bringing together several of those voices to ask the simple question, but a very important question. Where are they now? What has shifted? What have they outgrown? What has challenged them? And what may have been revealed? Because growth doesn't just happen in the moment. It happens in the days, the weeks, and the months after the conversation ends. So today we are leaning into that. Now, before we begin, I want to invite you into this moment with us. This is not about perfection. This is about progress. It's also about honoring the journey and recognizing that transformation is ongoing. We have several incredible guests today that brought so much wisdom, vulnerability, and truth to this platform. And we're first joined by Brittany Livingston. Welcome back to Rise and Thrive.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. Just happy to be here.
Good. Awesome. So attachment, that's one of my favorite topics. In case guests don't know who you are, maybe didn't catch your episode, tell them a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Brittany Livingston. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in both Maryland and DC. Currently, I work in a however, most of my social work has been in a foster care setting, both with unaccompanied minors and with youth in traditional foster care here in the District of Columbia. And so attachment has really been something that's important to me, especially in a foster care setting, just, the importance of making sure that we are creating healthy attachments with the children that we encounter. However, I do know that attachment, I think this is what we talked about last time, attachment shows up in our everyday lives, how we show
Yes.
up with our children, how we show up with our spouses, how we show with our parents at work. And so that's really what we focused on last time. And so definitely a much needed topic. Many people reached out to me and was like, hey, that was, very, very important. They talked about where they thought that they were as far as attachment was concerned, wanted to take the attachment quiz and do some of their own personal work as it relates to attachment. It just shows up in everyday life. So,
Awesome. So that's perfect. So people have reached out to you. So that means that your episode had a meaningful impact.
yes, definitely. It was definitely a topic that was of interest to people. Mainly because, it just shows up in everything that you do,
Yeah.
It's important to pay attention to, so you know how you show up and you know how you want to make changes to how you show up or not make changes to how you show up. So definitely important topic.
Awesome. Well, I would guess was there anything particularly meaningful that came out of it or something that surprised you after being on the podcast on Rise and Thrive?
It surprised me how many people reached out to me to talk about, their attachment styles, how they showed up. Uh, to me, it just showed up as an important topic to other people. I didn't realize how important it was to other people, although I know it's important to other people. I know that it can be helpful to other people to pay attention to. Um, that was that was pretty neat. And then just doing a personal reflection, always when you just, talk about things, it's always a nice idea to have your own personal reflection. So just reflecting personally on like kind of where I was, where I am, where I wanted to be, things.
Love that, love that. Okay, Brittany. Well, thank you so much for joining in. It was an absolute pleasure to have you be a part of season one and look forward to more opportunities for us to connect. And thank you for just blessing the audience with your presence and your knowledge. Before we continue today's conversation, I want to share something that has become part of my personal self care routine. I've partnered with Canvas Beauty, a Black woman owned beauty brand built around confidence, community, and intentional self care. Their products are designed to help you take care of your body while feeling good in the skin you're in. And if you've been following Rise and Thrive, you already know caring for yourself is not vanity, it's alignment. And if you want to try Canvas Beauty for yourself, you can use my affiliate link in the show notes and use my code GENIE3 for a discount at checkout. Now let's get back to today's episode. Welcome back to Rise and Thrive. Dr. Owen Edwards, please meet my soror and sister in Christ, Kamonya Omatete.
How are you?
Yes. So it was such an honor to have both of you featured on season 1 of Rise and Thrive. And so it's wonderful to have you all back to just hear about how things have been, what you've learned, any unexpected things that came from your wisdom, the gems that you dropped while you were here on Rise and Thrive.
We recorded early on in the year, and then
Hmm.
mine came out in October regarding Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Dr. Edwards, so I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2021, and I am thriving, not just surviving, I'm thriving. And so just, first of all, my family and friends were awesome. So, I forwarded the link and they forwarded to other people actually. And I'd gotten asked to speak at a couple engagements. They were kind of short notice, so I didn't. So I thought that was great. But just
Yeah.
people forwarding it out to others, because that's the whole point for breast cancer is to share. People share with me to make my experience as what it was, as, the best that it could be under the circumstances. And I just wanted to share with others. And I was able to do that through the broadcast. So thank you so much. I think it's helpful, and people still talk about it and still share it, and was just stating, just the openness. That's how I am, open regardless. And so again, we can learn from each other. I did get the opportunity to talk to people, and I said that during the broadcast. I had talked to a few people, and I was hoping to talk to a few other people prior to the broadcast, just about my relationship with them and talking about what they meant to me and how they supported me. And I was able to do that for quite a few people before the broadcast came out, and I was just just happy about that. Things that I felt like I could have done better with my relationship with other people, and just thanking them for their relationship with me. So I was able to do that. So, things are going. I'm still living. I'm still thriving. Every 6 months I go get tested, either a breast MRI or a mammogram. And I just had one in February. It's always stressful to go through that. There's been
Yeah.
a couple times, I didn't say this last time, over the last few years, I had to get an additional biopsy, but things still have come out good. And so it becomes stressful, but I'm almost at that 5-year mark. So, which is great.
Praise
So I'm
God.
just thankful.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Kamanya. Like the outpouring of support and in the comments, like your community, they really showed up for your episode. And what I love about this is that the episode is always out there.
Yes.
So you can continue to send it to people. And actually, if you want some clips, I can get you some more clips if you want to use those at all for anything with future speaking engagements. And feel free to always just like use it,
That'll be great.
however
Yeah.
yeah, however you wanna use it, because that's amazing, and God so good,
All the
so
time.
All the
good.
time.
All
Yes.
the time.
So, Dr. Edwards, how has life been since your episode of Rise and Thrive aired?
Life has been good and busy. So I can talk about staying the course. So I think towards the
Okay.
end of my interview last time, I mentioned my LLC, the Outstanding One Solutions. And these days, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is a little bit under attack, a little bit too under attack for my liking. However,
Yeah.
a dear mentor of mine sat down with me before I graduated, actually, and said, listen, you may need to pivot. And if so, that's okay, because nobody's sending anyone to an early grave. And Black folks, we're pretty resistant. So I prayed and stayed the course and said, okay, well, we'll see what happens. One day, while just working on different projects with folks, I received a text message. And the text message said, hey, oh, do you mind taking a look at this training for me? I just want a second set of eyes, and I know nobody will do it like you. So I said, okay. So before I went to bed that evening, I stayed up to about maybe 1 in the morning, because certain friends just do things for immediately when you can. And I knew that, she had other things going on. And this training was, she's an incredible designer, clothing designer, right?
Mm.
Viewed the training for her and sent it back and thought nothing of it. And she called and with such a heartfelt message and a voice note actually, and said, listen, I really appreciate you for doing this, spur of the moment like this. And she said, my mama told me not, that's your friend. And so after that, I said, sure, no problem. Then I got off the phone and I said, bingo, this might be the next direction for the LLC. So I incorporated instructional design principles. Little did she know I had
Okay.
instructional design background in my undergrad program at Oakland. And so I started that, and my website is just about done with the updates. And so that was that.
Wonderful.
The other thing is we talked about faith.
Mhm.
One thing that I believe in is, like writing the vision, making it plain, whatever that looks
Come
like, you
on.
and God. And so I had written a little sticky on my mirror. And I said, one of the things I want to be able to do is serve as an adjunct professor. I don't want to be full time, the whole published parish, not my ministry. Okay.
Yeah, same.
Okay. So I just had it on my mirror on a little sticky, and all it said was adjunct faculty, because the way that my life operates and the way that I am connected to God, I do have to be careful with my tongue, because what I say sometimes comes true. Okay. And also being mindful of what you let people speak over you. All right. And
Yep.
so one day I got a call out of the blue. Did my PhD at Florida State University. Fortunately, the individual who was supposed to teach a course over the summer last year, his mother passed away, a dear colleague. So
Okay.
I gave my
Yeah.
condolences, and I had 2 days to do the syllabus. And the reviews that I got back after this 12-week summer course, I can say the name of the course because this is how God works. So I talked about DEI being under attack. Then God came right
Mhm.
back around and said, well, you're going to teach Black and Latino education, history, and policy. Right. And they
There you go.
class online for various reasons, and it's asynchronous. And so I did that to the best of my ability, and I did it with excellence because I'm a product of the program. And I thought that think this class should stay around for years to come.
Mhm.
Right. And so did that. And guess what happened? Today I'm about to wrap up the syllabus because I've been invited back to teach the class again.
God
Come
is
on, God.
good
God
all the
is
time.
all the times doing that.
And what you're talking about, it aligns with the series that we're doing at church, actually.
Wow, okay, I'll tap out
Mhm.
again. Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
So, just yes, that and staying the course, and there you have it. Those are a few things that I've been up to.
That's amazing. So, have either of you was there something that either of you said in your original episode that you had to, like, live out in a newer or deeper way? Because sometimes we have a way of, like, holding ourselves accountable, right, through our words. Were there any things from your episodes that you're just like, "I really gotta, like, lock in with that?"
Just trusting God more, I was speaking to someone recently, about having a job, right? And I
Mhm.
explaining how working remotely has been a blessing. At the end of last year, towards the end of last year, I went home to Detroit to take care of my 95-year-old grandmother when my parents were away on vacation, right? Again, I was invited back because nobody's going to do it like me. And I was able to do that for like 11 days. And
Mhm.
95, that's a blessing. And just in the natural world, we don't know how long any of our loved ones are going to be here. So the fact that I was able to do that, I said, "Thank you, Lord." And Lord, I want to be able to continue to work remotely because no one in the no remote job is going to say, "Where you think you're going for 11 days? Sit your tail down and get back to this work." And a part of that was, hanging in there and obtaining the PhD, earning it because it allowed that door to open. And so, yes, trusting God, because at first I was like, wait, am I going to really be able to do this? Because at the time I was teaching another class in person. And I said, yeah, because you
Mhm.
had examples of what other professors have had to do in the past. We've been through the pandemic with many things. So I put that class on Zoom for just 2 classes and came right on back in person. And it was like I never left. And then at
Yep.
the end of the day, a part of honoring your parents is also honoring your grandparents. I'm very blessed. Many people don't have grandparents anymore. I'm not perfect, but I do my very best. I always have to honor parents.
Mhm.
That's faith too, because I still continue to have faith that, Lord, while I'm away, I'm getting back on this plane. You're going to still take care of my loved ones. I was in Detroit for Christmas and thanks
Mhm.
Christmas and the New Year's. I planned a funeral within 4 days. My godmother's grandmother passed away. And still, and when those things happen, it was expected. But when it happens, sometimes your loved ones can't think. And I was there, always bring the laptop. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I would end up writing the entire obituary and getting it off, to folks to have it read.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was we knew it was gonna happen, we did not know when it was going to happen, and then my godmother was like, "I wouldn't want you to have to fly all the way to Florida and then come back." And again, being able to work remotely allowed me to be at the funeral home, speak up when things needed to be said, only because when folks are hurt, you're just hurt. And so we need somebody who can be level-headed while still praying at the same time for the family, And so listen, my mom and my godmother have been locked in since 1969. This is not some made up stuff. How do you get a god grandma? No, no, this she was really my god grandma for real. When I was brought home from the hospital, I was on her dining room table. She was rocking me and making me laugh. Who would have thought years later I ended up writing her obituary? So those are just
Yeah.
some of the things very recently that
Mhm.
I have been working on and have been thankful that God has been able to make me strong, in those moments. And
Yeah.
because it was tough. You just, writing and then it also helped the family to just be forward thinking, moving forward, And so
Yes.
I don't know if
Thank
that
you.
answered
And
your
you
question,
mentioned
but
you did. And you
rightfully
mentioned
and
how important, like, grandmothers were to you, and you talked about that wisdom. And so just having to go live that and show up for them and for family, that's hugely important. Thank you. Come on, yeah.
So, over the past few months, I think I talked about just regarding making sure that, of course, I'm taking care of myself, that I'm around people who are going to uplift me with their words based on, again, what we're talking about in church too. The power of the tongue,
Mhm.
like you said, Dr. Edwards, is so important. It could be used for good as I tell the clients we work with, or it could be used for whatever else y'all gonna do, but you want it to be used for good and for me to surround myself with people like that. One thing that I did do is that I'm still working, but I'm officially retired from my job. So being in child welfare for 26 years is a lot. And so, but I can work
Yeah.
up to 3 more years. It's called the Deferred Retirement Option Program. I'm officially retired, but I can work in my same jobs, have the same benefits up to 3 years. I can leave anytime, but I plan to stay for the 3 years just because I feel like I'm young enough to still stay and get the money. It's about the money too. Get the money that will be saving my retirement. But first of all, it's just a blessing that I could leave when I want to, and then do something because I'll have one child still in college and do something that's less stressful. They say when you leave child welfare, you take 10 years off of your face. Everybody I see, really 10 years come off of them. And so I'm excited about that. And so that's a blessing, but also just to continue to be around people again that is going to uplift me and not hear, and sometimes you do have to hear because sometimes the stuff is true, but who people are going to tell you, who are the people who love you, who really wants the best for you. And not that anything is perfect, but there's also negativity at work, at church, in the streets or whatever that you don't have to be around. And so I do appreciate again the lesson that Brother McClure talked about today regarding it's the power of the tongue and what are you using
Mhm.
it for? And just continue to want to uplift others. Again, not everything has to be rosy or happy all the time, but knowing that you're saying things out of love is more important to me than, just something just coming out your mouth and sounding crazy.
Yep. Yep. Agreed.
amen.
Well, thank you both so much. Were there any other things that you wanted to share before heading out? I appreciate you all dropping by to give the Rise and Thrive community updates.
Just thank you for the opportunity again. I, I appreciate just the original opportunity. So thank you so much.
Same.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you.
Y'all have been very supportive to me and my obedience and what God was telling me to do and to, be able to use this and help people tell their stories and to help our brothers and sisters because y'all know this thing called life is crazy and it's getting crazier every day
Yeah, it is.
these days. So it was just like an honor and really and truly, even just the way the podcast came about and how quickly folks responded and the recording, how everything happened. So you all are a very important part of my story as well. So thank you both.
Likewise. Thank you so much for both of you.
Yes. I love
Love you.
y'all.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Good afternoon, Mr. LaRoche.
Good afternoon, Madam.
And
Madam Simpson.
welcome back. Yes, welcome back to Rise and Thrive.
How are you?
I am great. Good to see you.
It's good to be seen and not viewed.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So we might have a couple people popping in because folks are just kind of like popping in and out, but just like giving updates. So when you were last with us on Rise and Thrive, we were talking about faith and different things that you had going on from, a pretty serious car accident that shook things up, being executive MBA program and many things. So just like fill us in. Like, how's life been since the episode? And yeah, we'll start there. How's life been since the episode?
Life since the episode. So as of probably tonight, I would be finished with my executive MBA. Once I deliver these next two projects before midnight.
Okay.
We have until midnight to submit. So that is really the first major. Just life in general, living in this time that we're in is
And it
really
is a time.
a matter of endurance. Not it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So we have to think like it's a marathon and not like it's a 100-meter race, trying to figure out what are your long haul decisions, your investments, your conversations, everything that you really put forth. What is it going to be centered around? So that gives it that. If it gives you any ambiguity, for sure we could dive into the details, but just as a ballpark thinking.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for taking time since, you're right there at the end. So I appreciate you popping in today to update folks. And please, if you would like to go a little bit deeper, it is very much welcome.
Well, I mean, deeper in what sense? I think the last time we spoke, there was so much that I covered. As I mentioned, perseverance through faith is one of the things that I wanted to lean on then. But of course, now it's continued faith. So how far have I actually come since then is an interesting space. Of course, still have the same car, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
I'm coming on to the end of my 3-year stint as my chapter's president in Washington, D.C. So I feel like I'm at the point of the turning point in the road where I have put forth a lot of energy. That MBA took a lot of time and a lot of energy. Presidency, exact same thing. Now I am the director of communications for the Eastern region of Alpha. So that has been a different conversation in itself, but it's a turning point, right? After investing 3 years into my fraternity on the chapter level, now it's on the national level. What can I do regionally to create new systems, improve systems, to help change the narratives?
Awesome. And so congratulations on all of the things that you have going and welcome in Laqundra. We're just catching up with Mikael here since his episode, and we're going to circle to you in just a moment. So, Mikael, what was the response to the episode from people in your community?
Support, I think a lot of people they're surface level, right? When you look at a person, what you see on Instagram, for perfect example, is surface. It's not in depth. It doesn't give you any grand sense of detail about what a person endures on a day-to-day basis or how they're surviving. So it gave some perspective to individuals like I said, didn't know, or you were in a car accident, you're doing your MBA, all of these little subtle nuances that if you don't necessarily share on social media, people aren't going to be privy to. So
Right.
not to say that I wouldn't share it on a regular day basis. It's just, like I said, perspective. When you're having a conversation with people, they're not going to peer too deeply into your lives because it's not necessarily their interest, nor is it their business. So you're not just going to volunteer information. You're just you're living and you're enjoying their company, not for anything else other than time and space and opportunity. So I think that has been the generic response, like, wow, we did not know, just your introspective view on things and life. And most people know me as fun. So the fun
Yeah.
side of me is not as colorful as the introspective, deep conversational sides.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. And then what are you stepping into in this season of your life? So you've been planting a lot of seeds and doing a lot of work. What does that next season look like for you?
Right now, I just want it to be summer.
Agreed.
I would like to skip past the flowers and the blossoms and even the pollen. And I just would like a nice sunny atmosphere of a season for myself, because just as was our winter here in the DMV, it was a cold few months. Right? Last few years have been very trying, and kind of getting tired of. Especially, I know for Black women, it's very clear, evident. You all have been tried through and through, from elections to just being a Black woman in America. It comes
Every
with
day.
a very heavy burden, but it's a shared experience, right? Black men don't necessarily emote as well as our queens, but it is important for us to get into spaces and how we can share emotions, really start to listen to the cues, the telltale cues of the Black man and his plight. So it's been a rough winter, and we are all looking forward to some sunshine in our lives. I am grateful for the snow, because it it secures the seeds that are in the ground to actually help it grow. It provides moisture, and I always like to speak in metaphors, but the reality is that I am looking forward to green grass, and that is the reality of a lot of people's lives over the past few months.
So is there anything specific that you'd like to see out in that field of green grass?
Speaking it into existence,
Mm-hmm.
finishing this executive MBA has been valuable, and now I want to see what it leads me in career wise. Yeah, simple as that.
Okay.
Whether it is entrepreneurial, because I did defend specifically based on a topic that I felt very passionate about, and that is really a lucrative business venture. But career wise, that is a dream. It's like, okay, I've been here from, started from the bottom. Now I am here. But now it's time to actually pick fruit and reap
Yeah.
the rewards and benefits of sacrifice.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I can't wait to see what the harvest looks like. And if there's any way that I can support you, don't hesitate to reach out. I appreciate you taking time out because you got that midnight deadline. So we're going to let you go. And thank you for dropping back in to Rise and Thrive.
And no problem. I will send you my thesis, and when you find opportunity to invest, please, I'm taking it by the tens and twenties of thousands. So that's how, Laqundra, you too. You sit in the back there, NDAs will be coming in emails one at a time. So that's how it goes.
All
Right?
right. Sounds good. Well, thanks, Mikael.
You're welcome. Ciao.
All right. Well, hello, Laqundra, and welcome in, Chief. Good to see you.
Hello, hello. How are
Good
you?
afternoon.
Yes, I am well and glad to see two of my favorite people here. Just like the good energies. Like if y'all two met friends, right? Like kind of similar to me and you, Chief. So welcome back to Rise and Thrive. So Laqundra, tell us, how have things been since your episode of, well, you had two, we split it in two, since your episodes of Rise and Thrive have aired. And what was the response in your community?
The response, I think everybody's response was just being appreciative of how vulnerable I was. And I keep saying, I'm just like that. I'm an open book. I just know that whatever it is that I'm saying, it could be a help to someone else. Just sharing my story. And I tell people that all the time, like we are just a sum of our experiences. And so
Yeah.
you never know how sharing your experiences is going to help or
minister to somebody else or help someone else see that they aren't the only people who have gone through things, but have come out on the other side, right?
Yeah.
And actually, recently, I had someone watch it and they said to me,
Mm-hmm.
no, you did great. No, nothing, I mean, disrespectful or anything to you. You ate him up in that podcast. And I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't." I was like, "I was just telling my story. I'm sorry that that's what my story was. It wasn't meant to be offensive, and if he was offensive, he could have responded. If he was offended or what have you, he could have responded, But then also I thought about it. I was like, that was all of like 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes of what it was that we even talked about, even out of like, what, an hour and 45 minutes. So, but I understood, but it was still like, but your story, I could tell like, it's just your story. I was like, exactly, it's
Mm-hmm.
your story.
Mm-hmm.
Meant to, be mean or derogatory or anything towards anyone. It was just my story. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you were very clear about that when you were saying it, right? Like you were being very respectful of it and honoring that, right? And you have a curious child; he will
Oh my
listen, and you're mindful of those things.
exactly.
So,
And very
but also, I think what you're speaking to is sometimes people won't speak the truth because of how it might interpret, right? Like you had no agenda; you were literally just telling your story.
yeah, that's all. And I don't think they took it as me having an agenda. They were just like,
Good deal.
kind of like it was hard to hear type of thing. It made it hard to
Okay.
hear, but it was hard to live. So, but since then, let's see. We talked about me starting my master's program, all the things. So
Mm-hmm.
today, actually, I took my comprehensive exam um,
Yes.
to graduate. Well, I
Woo!
don't graduate until December, but I was just like, Lord, look, okay, because I'm not. Hey, I don't believe I can do it, but I know that you can. You told me to do. I
Amen.
need you to do it. Okay, so just do it for me. That's it. That's all that I need.
Yeah.
You told me to
Yeah.
do this, and so I believe that you're going to make it so. And so don't allow me not believing in me to come off as me not believing in you. But I know what you're capable
Yeah.
of. And so I just know
Yeah.
that when it happens, it's going to be because you did it. And so you have all the glory. So my classmate, she got done before me and she checked her score and she texted me and she was like, I did really bad. And I was like, you got your score already? And she was like, yeah. And I said, let me check and see if I can check mine.
Yeah.
I checked mine and I was like, oh, I did really bad. She was like, did you get more than 54 wrong? And I was like, no, a little less. Right. And so I'm not understanding. So it was 160 questions. We weighted 136 of the 160. I only got 85 of those 136 correct. Right.
Mhm.
I'm not realizing that it's graded on a curve because of how the tests are designed. It's almost like you have to beat the exam, right?
Mm.
Not always knowledge of subject matter. It's more so you have to pay attention to the verbiage of the questions
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're like
Oh, yeah.
so tired of rereading questions that I don't know what to do. So I just kind of stopped and had to do a little breath work and everything. I looked over because I'm tired. And so I was like, man, yeah, I got 85. Right. And she was like, yeah, well, I only got 82. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then a couple of my other classmates started just reaching out to me, telling me what their scores were. And I was like, oh, oh, so far, there was about 15 of us that took the exam. I think I have 5
Mhm.
total scores. There was an 85, an 84, an 82, a 60, a 58, and a 57. And my score is
Mm.
the 85. And so
Mhm.
I, from the scores that I've received, I've set the curve.
Yeah.
And so I'm just grateful because that I was going to be the person to kind of set the curve. And so I knew what God was going to do, but I didn't know that he was going to do it like that. And so
How?
yeah. how. And so I'm grateful. Uh, and that's just really it. I'm just really trusting God to do this and just get me through this program because I'm exhausted.
Yes, he will. Well, ask him for rest. Ask him for energy so you ain't got to do it in your own energy. All right, beautiful people. If this episode has already blessed you in any sort of way, we ask that you like, subscribe, follow, share, and leave comments. Feedback helps this message reach the people who need it most. And if you're listening and thinking, I'm ready to go deeper in my healing journey, we invite you to join our school community where we continue these conversations between episodes. And it's an opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals committed to growth, healing, and purpose. Also, do not forget, you can shop the merch and also explore all things Evolve at evolvewithdrjnicole.com. If you love today's look and you're wondering about this hair, you can use my promo code with the link in the description to get 15% off with Unice hair. That's UNICE. Thank you for rising with us. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Okay. So, Coach Rice, come on in. How have things been with you, and what was the reception or the response from your community after your episode aired?
It's funny how whether people are believers
Huh?
or not, I say we have been given the gift of manifestation, regardless of where we believe in the source of it.
Right.
The folks that actually tuned in, they were like, yeah, this is you. And this is here was a revelation. And I had to say this to somebody on my team the other day. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know, everything that we've done, all of us, all human beings, that we do with any level of proficiency or mastery, at some point we weren't good at it.
Correct. I remember you said be okay with being
In the
beginning or
beginner,
being a beginner.
when I literally was telling a mentee of mine who's at Morehouse now, and he and I were basically applying the things that I did in 2023. I'm doing it with him. And
Mm-hmm.
so today is the first day of 75 hard. I don't know if we've ever done it. And
I have
so
not.
okay, but either way, neither here nor there. The short moral of the story is I let him know. I said there was a time in my profession as an educator, especially when I first started teaching, that I thought I had to be in control all.
Mm,
And as a male teacher, of course, we feel like we have to be stern. The kids are going to respect me, and so on and so forth. Biggest mistake ever, because I realized it became a source of stress for me with, just with having to be in control. I was like, Chief, you're not serious all the time. You're not being yourself right now. You want control versus connection. And
oh,
so I'm just like, hey, what's the better way to really reach these young people? It's not about getting them to do what they're expected and supposed to do. It's about letting them know that you actually care about where they are in the moment. And so I told my mentee, of course, he's at Morehouse. And so he's not doing so well. He's not doing so well because you have to take public speaking. It's part
mm-hmm.
of what we do. And so he was like, yeah, man, the professor, man, she's hard. I said, well, listen, bro, this is Morehouse. This is what we're known for. We're known for grooming orators and professors and teachers and ministers. And I said, brother, you got to go through the gauntlet. And I said, just know that none of us were good at what we do right away.
Correct.
And it's okay. Maybe we were above average, but I mean, I'm sure you all, both of you sisters, could look back at something that you thought you did really well 4 years ago. It's like, no, I was all right. Versus now, especially if you put in the reps. I don't care what it is. If it's
Yeah.
being a better friend, if it's being a better, it doesn't matter. And so, with that in mind, just documenting everything. Getting back to our episode, when he found out how valuable documenting is, he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh man," it just the floodgates open up. And so, if you could see my wall now, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that I'm measuring, right? And I
Okay.
say, before you manifest, you have to master. Before you master, you have to measure. And so now, when I just put the numbers up, I'm like, okay, bro, this is what you did. This is what you did. This is what you did. Here are the numbers. And so, application is my word for this year.
Okay.
And
Love
my,
that.
my phrase for the year is make it a habit. So I'm sorry, make it a routine so it doesn't become a chore,
Mm.
no matter what it is. So application in all things. As a martial artist, we say it's not the artist, the practitioner. And
You
even
do
if
martial arts.
I'm sorry,
I said you do martial arts.
yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Did not know that.
Yeah, my first
Okay.
me and my son are first degree black belts in Shaolin Kung Fu.
Okay.
But
That's
okay,
intense. It's
okay,
very unexpected.
but you know what? Well, let me say thank you because most people look at martial arts as, now trust me, kung fu is hard on your body. Don't get me wrong. But between kung fu and tai chi, the most valuable lesson that I learned from martial arts was application of self in
Yeah.
scenarios in which you see something that can be done, you just pick it up. And I tell people, they were like, what's the biggest lesson you learned from being a martial artist? I was like, to be the laundry guy in your home. Since 2007, I do the laundry twice a week. Sundays and Wednesdays, kick it in. It don't matter. What? Okay. And then as the kids got older, I'm like, okay, let's just make this a team effort. If I wash and dry, you fold, or if you wash and let's do it that way. But one of the things that helped me as a father and a human being
Mm-hmm.
was to practice how to respond versus react. And again, that's part of that goes back to when I wasn't so good at classroom management. I was reacting versus responding. I was trying to respond. I was reacting to the call for me to be an impactful educator in the classroom instead of responding. And I thought that every time I showed up, everything just had to be spit and polished like the military. It's like, no, bro, this is not the
Mm.
military. The military is military. These are young people who oftentimes, when people talk to them, they talk to them at high volume if they even talk to them. And so, as a black man teaching black children, it's like, nah, bro. Somehow you have to show up as love in whatever way you can for them. And so,
Yeah.
once I embraced, like, dude, just show them parts of your personality. I didn't get better. It didn't get easier. I think the walls came down, mine and theirs. So
Okay.
that's the roundabout way in terms of measuring, like going back and being objective about, man, who were you then? Who were you in that season?
Yeah.
And as we go through spring cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
since it's spring in theory, hopefully in practice, you
Well, and
know,
the other day was spring equinox, where we had the equal amounts of day and night.
yeah. So you hope there's some sort of refreshing. Of course, we just wrapped up Ramadan. Easter is coming, and so on and so forth. So it's very timely that you're doing this. And so I think since the episode, I'm just getting back to practice.
Mm-hmm.
We're just practicing. All of us are
Okay.
practicing. I have to remind my own children, like, this is the first time I've had adult children.
Brand
It's
new.
my first time. It's your first time. So it's my first time. So I just have to, I have to remind them, like, this is the first time I've had adult children. And, even in certain scenarios, I've learned to respond versus react.
Mm-hmm.
And not that they're, out of pocket. It's funny. It's funny when my coworkers would see my kids when they were younger, say, man, you have such really good kids. I was like, no, don't say that. They're like, why not? I said, if they're good kids now, I said, does that mean they're going to grow up and be bad adults? I said, it could work the opposite way because y'all know y'all seen some bad kids that grow up to be really good adults. I said, does it work the opposite way? You be really
You
good
are
kids.
hilarious. Now they gon' step in some mud a little bit a couple
Yeah.
times,
Oh,
but hopefully it's not too deep, right?
yeah,
And they
of course.
got you.
Well,
and mom to help pull them up out of there and clean them up.
listen, I take zero credit for that. I think sometimes, I've been really blessed. I mean, we didn't have, nor have we ever had any major, you know, just like unthinkable scenarios with our kids and even their friends necessarily. But I think they watch the way that we have cultivated our circle.
Hmm.
And so their circles are very, very selective, but very impactful. Very,
Yeah,
very, they have high quality friends. They have quite high quality people in their circles.
that's so important.
Yeah.
So important. So, Laqundra, what are you stepping into in this next season of your life?
Well, I feel like I need to connect with Coach because I want my son to be a Morehouse man so bad. I've been like, dropping little like, hey, don't you want to go back to Atlanta? He was born.
I could totally see him at Morehouse.
Exactly. I tell him all the
Could
time, I was
totally
like,
see
you're gonna be
him.
a Morehouse man. Okay,
So, you know,
we'll see.
what is this your only child? Is this your only child?
Yes, and he's 11. Okay. So I'm
Okay.
just,
Okay.
speaking.
Okay.
Getting them ready
Yes,
early.
You
getting him
got
ready
time.
early.
You got time.
But one thing I want to say, Coach, though, you said that, don't call them good kids because you don't know if they're going to turn into bad ones or what have. One thing about it, regardless of what
Chamika, can you mute, please?
she did, oh, regardless of what is going on, they watch. They don't listen to what we say. They watch what we do, and so just how they
And
are and
do.
how they move right now is a testament to just you and their upbringing, right? You and your wife or what have you, their upbringing, just watching you all. And so ultimately we can't block them for whatever their testimony is going to be. So we all have our own, and so they're going to have their own too. You're just going to be there to support them through it. And uh,
Inshallah.
yes. And so this season, graduation. Okay. I had to say,
Yes.
I'm sitting down in 2026. If I can't drive there, I'm not going. Okay. So I'm doing my best. Well, the man made it so I can't really go out of the country right now. So it's cool. But yeah, if I can't drive there, I'm not going. But I really just need to sit down. But also just practicing.
So you driving to Texas?
Absolutely. What do you mean?
I gotta call you later, girl. That's crazy.
I am. I've driven there several times. I go there. I drive there in Georgia and Louisiana.
Okay.
So it's fine. But yeah, so ultimately, just graduation is on my mind. This exam is out of the way. I'm going to take the national exam 2 months after I graduate. That's the limit that I'm giving myself. So I graduate in December. So I will be taking the national exam by February at the absolute latest. And just honing in on this boy mom parenting because my son likes girls a lot and
And the girls like
they
him.
like him. Okay. He's a very handsome kid, but he's also he's very charismatic, but he's very unbothered as well. And so I'm going to honor that in him. I just appreciate the fact that he comes to me and talks to me about just stuff. I hugged Jade today and I hugged her twice yesterday. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So no matter how uncomfortable I get, right, I'm just going to act like I'm not and just allow me.
And Auntie over here is like, and who is this little girl, Jay? Who is this girl?
Listen, it is a lot, but it's getting to the point now where we're going to have those talks. Um, you're going to get photos of all the STDs, all the things, as you go into middle school and all the things, because it's exposure. It's these kids have the world at their fingertips, right? And so I just need to be proactive. I don't want you gaining knowledge of something before the person that is giving it to you. So I want to make sure that you're receiving it the right way. But ultimately, just once I get done with school, I'm going to pour more into my business. Don't stop love, all the things, love on the line with my lip gloss. And I have lip liner too, Mika. So Jeannie.
I just shared your link with somebody today. I was wearing the pink one that has like the glitter in it. I forget the color now. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have that on today. Somebody at church was like, "I like your lip gloss." I was like, "Here, girl, I'm gonna send you the link."
Yes, God, that's it. And so just focusing more on my career, my business,
Mhm.
and just walking into what it is that I'm purposed to do in the earth. And so that's just what I'm doing now.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome in future Dr. Chamika Ellis.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, that's perfect,
What up,
actually.
Doc? What up, Doc?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm on my balcony. The sun is sunny.
Enjoying that sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's
Love that
warm.
Morgan shirt. My niece goes to Morgan.
Yes, yes, she does. She does. I got to meet her during homecoming. And
Yes. Okay, well, Shamika, I'm trying to Quandra, you're welcome to stay. You're free to go because I know you also, took your exam and I know you just ready probably to crash out. So is there anything you would like to leave with the audience before you leave us today?
Everything in love. That's it. That's always going to be my
Love
message.
that.
So y'all have a great rest
Love
of
it.
your day.
You
And
too.
Coach will connect Jeannie, please. Mika, I love you so
Got you.
love
well.
you too,
Absolutely.
boo.
Well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Take
All
care, sis.
right.
Good to meet you.
So finally, the three of us together
I know the gang's all
again.
together.
Look,
Yeah.
the number of times coach is like, we gotta go karaoke.
It's like Shalimar. Like Shalimar. You know what I'm saying?
The
Except
second
it's two
time
girls.
around.
Except it's two girls and one guy.
Right.
Yes,
Shalimar.
yes,
It's Shalimar. It's the reverse.
Exactly.
yes. Shamika, how have things been since your episode, and what was the response in your community to your episode of Rise and Thrive?
Well, to answer your first question, how things been going? Really, really well. I haven't dropped out of my program yet, which is good. Actually, it was kind of like a little bit of the fuel that I needed to kind of keep going. I'm definitely much closer to doing my proposal defense. And honestly, I think the response to the episode has been overwhelmingly amazing. There are a lot of people that were like, I had no idea about your story. Um, they felt like there were some nuggets that I dropped, and I was just like, yeah, I got bars. No, but seriously, just a lot of folks that saw it that were just really interested in learning more. And a lot of them even said that they resonated with some of the things that I felt in terms of, struggling to pray for myself, um, in terms of, questioning my faith, considering everything that I went through and my faith journey, and know that I wasn't alone in that
Uh-huh.
experience. So that's been really, really good. It's led to a number of, I don't want to say opportunities, but just opportunities to engage more with folks, especially within the that have a background with foster care or experiencing homelessness. So that's been really good. And I'll be honest, it's been a little overwhelming because I'm like, there's still moments where I'm like, for real, me? You think I'm an expert? You sure?
You are by lived experience, and now you're a doctorate education.
Correct. So that's been really, really good.
Awesome. I love that. Love that. And so has there been anything that you maybe said in that original episode that you had to like live out in a new or deeper way? And this goes for both of you.
Year ago. Huh.
I know the time has
I
gone
know.
so
I know. I'm
fast.
like, I'm still trying to remember what I did yesterday, but then I could feel it in my legs.
Right.
You're right.
Well, remember, the memory is the second thing to go.
Thanks for that, coach.
What's the first?
I can't remember.
Thanks for that, coach.
I'll be here all week. I'll be here all week.
Right.
Bars and jokes, jokes and
Right,
bars.
exactly. We take the show to
Sound like a podcast.
right. In the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, if I, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because I'm still thinking.
I mean, I think it's just because I say it to myself probably not as often as I should, but I'm reminded of just being a beginner, just with more, I think in this season, I'm more reminded of the application of the beginner. And part of being a good beginner is learning how to get organized again for the season that is upon us. So what worked in this season, it worked for that season. But guess what? You may have to pull something back. You may have to add something. You may have to double down or triple down on something else. And so I know in my spirit of responsiveness, one thing I said to my guys in my program is that I said, man, if I ever raise my voice, the day I raise my voice is the day that I resign. I said, because
Okay.
I haven't raised my voice in my home in more than 11 years.
Yeah.
And again, I'm like, I tell them I don't micromanage men. That's not what I do. Now, some men may need to be micromanaged by someone else, but I'm not the one. I'm just not the one. And it's not that I don't care. It's the fact that I'm being a beginner with letting you know I don't micromanage men. So you be a beginner at micromanaging yourself. If you care to send your very best, we're always here to help. Just because I said I don't want to micromanage you doesn't mean I don't want. I just won't micromanage you because my system may not work for you. I'm not telling you to be a morning person. That may not be who you need to be in this season. But I know you asked Laqundra, what was she stepping into? I'm stepping into shedding stuff off, stuff that I can do that I enjoy doing. But it's like, yo, bro, this might not be the season that you need to be engaged with that particular group or that particular project. And it's nothing to them, but at times it's like none of us, of course, none of us are getting any younger. And it's kind of like, all right, bro, the only reason you can't make more progress is because you're not singularly focused on the thing that means the most to you. So that's the reason for me challenging a lot of my guys and whoever wanted to join the 75 hard, because it's a really good time to again be a beginner. And so as I'm stepping into saying no more often, I'm already seeing even in the days prepping for today, I've already seen where it's benefiting me. And so I'm super excited about how much more creativity is going to come out of my brain and my heart and my spirit. Inshallah. I mean, of course, not mine, but of course, as he directs me on what to share and what to do. So I'm excited about that.
Love that. Chamika?
I believe for me, it's since my episode, I've been thinking and trying to be a lot more intentional about prayer. I know that wasn't like the core of it. We talked about a lot of different topics, but
Mhm.
prayer was at the core of it for the most part, and it's definitely not forced me, but made me think about being more intentional about prayer for myself and making sure I'm prioritizing what are my desires, the desires of my heart. Um,
Mhm.
and that's definitely been a journey for me because there are a lot of moments where I still struggle with it, but I'm noticing it's becoming easier to put myself first. And not to say that I'm neglecting other things. Like obviously when I pray from a spirit of gratitude and thanking God for, just who he is and sending his son. But instead of like focusing on all these other things or people first, let's focus on me for a change. And that's been admittedly, it was really uncomfortable at first because I just felt like, well, we're supposed to be serving others and doing all these things. But I'm like, no, but you could do both. It's not a either or, it's a both and.
Yes.
So that has been, but so leading to that, also just thinking about, not only just praying for myself first, but also making sure I'm putting my needs first, just generally, and being clear about what it is that I need, which has honestly been helpful because I'm in a new relationship and just being very intentional about making sure that I'm in a good space, right? And not trying to and not to say not trying to, but making sure I'm prioritizing myself and then him, and versus the other way around where in the past I've ignored my own needs and desires. So there's a train in the background. I'm so sorry. So but also not even just with, my relationship, but just even at work. And
Mhm.
with my friendships and that type of thing, making sure like not trying to feel like I'm overexerting myself with that. So those are the big things for me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, you two are the last guests that are stopping in today. Are there any final words, reflections, bars that you all would like to leave with the Rise and Thrive family?
She's thinking, I don't want the muse is visiting her. I'm gonna let her go.
Now you go, 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 go.
I would say young at heart, or it doesn't matter what you consider yourself to be, on our path to mastery, on our path to clarity, on our path to purpose. Here's one of the things all of us have to just really think about. There are times when it does get boring, and some people think when it gets boring that it's not meant to be for us, and this is not what God has for us. But in our state of boredom, as we all know from our childhood, and our state of boredom is when we're the most creative. And at times in this journey to clarity, mastery, and all of the above, it's okay to get bored as long as we recognize it, embrace it, and realize on the other side of it, there's so many other things that are going to open up in terms of how we show up and how we serve people and how that gift that we've been given comes back 10,000 fold. And proof of that is just anything y'all can name a time where you were just bored, whether it was in a personal relationship, if it was a job, if it was school, but you endured it. And at some point on the other side is, you know what, that was worth the boredom at some point. That was worth it. The boredom was worth it at some point. And so I believe, I know there's actually a TED talk, and they talk about, boredom is when we're the most creative. And so I just know that in this next season, as I'm stepping into, I'm like, yeah, Chief, you're going to get bored, but stick it out, because at times, when I was bored, I gained the courage and the clarity to step away from a job that I actually loved the people that I worked with, but I just knew. But at some point I got bored and I was like, okay, bro, you got clarity and you got some courage and you just made the move. So, and it landed me in a space in which I still enjoyed the work. I still
Hmm.
enjoyed the people that I did it with, but I didn't work as much. And I really had a larger, I had the opportunity to have a larger impact. And so, it's okay to be bored. It's okay to be bored. Just don't stop. Just don't.
For me, I think the one thing that I want listeners to take away is don't wait until you feel ready. Let readiness catch
Mm,
up. That's a bar.
it
It is a
is.
bar. I think there are a lot of times in thinking about my own life and the trauma I experienced and just general life experiences, I've, you know, always felt like I needed to be ready. Like I need to do stuff to get ready. I'm not ready yet, right? And I'm just learning. Sometimes you just got to do it. Let readiness catch up. And yeah, that's what I got.
That's so good. So much in there, right? That sounds like that's a podcast within itself.
Can, can you,
Let
can you,
readiness catch
can you
up.
say that again so we can quote the source? Say it again.
So don't wait until you're ready. Let readiness catch up.
That's good stuff. Well, I want to thank you both. Well, actually, Shamika, I want to give you an opportunity to say what you're stepping into this season before I let you both go.
Ooh. I am stepping into the life that God has designed for me.
Okay.
I'm stepping into dissertation finalization. I am stepping into abundance. I'm stepping into intentional living.
Love that. Love that. That's a great place to end today. I want to thank you both for accepting my invitation to join me on Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole. It was just an idea that I had, and It's already coming up on a year. Season 2 is going to premiere on April 21st. So thank you both for contributing and for believing in the vision for Rise and Thrive for Dr. J. Nicole.
Awesome. Thank you.
And know that
Thanks
y'all
for
have
having
like
me.
an open pass to come back whenever you
Yep.
want. Or if something comes and you're like, hey, let's talk about this, da 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 da. And anytime me and Chief catch up, it's like a podcast episode anyway.
Hey,
That's true.
Super Soul Sunday on any given day of the
Right.
week.
Hey, let's do it. Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Let readiness catch up. I'm just saying, that sounds like a show. I'm saying, when you done with your doctorate. All right.
All right. Well, thank y'all both.
Thank y'all. All right. Take care.
Take care. So as you can see, we've had amazing guests all season long come through Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole. I hope that you've enjoyed the reflections from the guests that were able to join us today, and also be reminded of some of those gems that were in their episodes. I'll leave you with this. Rising is not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were always meant to be. And thriving is not about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about choosing environments that honor you. It's about releasing what no longer fits and what no longer serves you. It's about trusting that your growth is not accidental. It is intentional. Every step you've taken, every season you've learned, every boundary that you've set is shaping a life that reflects your values, your faith, and your purpose. So wherever you are in your journey right now, keep rising, keep evolving, and most importantly, keep thriving. And if this conversation has resonated with you, if you've been reflecting on your own patterns or your growth or your next season, I want you to stay connected with us because this is just the beginning. Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole, Season 2 premieres April 20th, and we're stepping into this next season with intention, elevation, and expansion. And we are launching a new and elevated Rise and Thrive collection that is meant for lifestyle, right? It's including some new pieces as well as some home goods that are designed to reflect the lifestyle that we talk about here, faith, healing, and purpose. So please be on the lookout for that. But before we go, I want to hear from you. What is one thing that you've outgrown in this season of your life? I want you to drop it down in the comments. And if this conversation spoke to you, make sure you subscribe, you follow. Also, like, share with someone that's in need, comment, leave us a review. That's what's going to help this platform to grow. And please, please, please stay connected for Season 2. I'm Dr. J. Nicole, and this is Rise and Thrive, where we rise in faith and thrive in purpose.